This week on the Computer Chronicles, a hands-on demo of Windows 95. A visit to the Win95 launch with Bill Gates and Jay Leno. Some advice on how to learn how to use the new version of Windows, a sneak preview of 2 new Win95 applications, a guide to online help for Windows 95, and this week's computer news. All coming up next on the Computer Chronicles.
Computer Chronicles is made possible in part by Hewlett-Packard, working with industry leaders to ensure compatibility across the board and across the network. HP PCs, you're looking at partnership in a whole new light.
The Computer Chronicles is also made possible by the Software Publishers Association, providers of educational materials to help manage software. Don't copy that floppy.
Hi, and welcome to the Computer Chronicles. I'm Stuart Chaffee. Unless you've been asleep somewhere for the last few months, you no doubt know that Windows 95 is upon us. Several million people have already bought the Win95 upgrade, but most computer users are still thinking about it. Should you buy it? Is it worth the $89? And how will your PC life be better if you have Windows 95? These are the questions we'll try to answer for you today. First of all, let's take a look at some of the features of Windows 95, and for that we brought in an expert, Joe Fabris of Microsoft. Welcome, Joe.
Hi, Stuart.
All right, here's Win95, and obviously, first of all, it looks different. I don't see my usual program manager, my little windows. Tell me what's going on here.
Well, we combined the program manager and the file manager into a single uniform desktop, and that's what we see here, where I've got an icon representing my computer and all its peripherals, network connection, and other folders and icons that I can add as I customize it.
All right, so the big thing is bottom left, the Start button, which is kind of intuitive. I want to start doing something, so I click on Start, and show me how I launch a program in Win95.
Sure. If you click on the Start button, you'll find there is an icon called the Programs over here. And this is where everything that you had in your old program manager has gone to when you start Windows for the first time under Windows 95.
All right, and that first window, let's get out of this, and let me ask you about autoplay. Now, another feature in here is if you
see, and I can change my mind. Do I go over here?
95 is, after all, just an operating system and a user interface, but the launch of the product was choreographed more like a Hollywood movie premiere than a software title. In case you missed it, here's what it was like in Redmond, Washington, the day Windows 95 was finally released.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Leno.
No, it's not The Tonight Show. Bill Gates invited Jay Leno to launch Windows 95 at this Hollywood-style event at Microsoft headquarters.
Well, Windows 95 is so easy, even a talk show host can figure it out.
Okay, you got your taskbar. Let's go right down there. Little taskbar there. You can click on there. You see, and I can change my mind. Do I go over here? This one too. I can change my mind faster than Bill Clinton. Look at that, huh? Healthcare, no healthcare. Republican today, Democrat tomorrow. Sure, there you go. Let's flip it back and forward. Back and forward. Easy as pie-ola. That's a technical term.
There were video testimonials by corporate users as well as home users.
I tape the CD, put it in, click it on the computer, and the big circle comes, and then the bird comes.
Members of the audience were pulled backstage to upgrade from Windows 3.1 to Windows 95 during the gala. The site was connected via satellite to an audience in an amusement park in the Silicon Valley, and the now widely recognized Start Me Up commercial previewed here. The big screen came down to reveal the development team. The audience made its way past them to the circus tents filled with more than 300 applications developed for Windows 95. For the Computer Chronicles, I'm Giles Bateman.
Now, you've all heard the horror stories about what you're going to have to spend to run Windows 95. More RAM, bigger hard drive, new keyboard, maybe a processor upgrade. Let's try to figure out what you really do need to run the new version of Windows. Here to help us out, a syndicated columnist, author, and all-around PC expert, Larry Magid. Welcome, Larry.
Thank you.
Before we get to the toys here, let's talk about installing Windows 95. What should you do to your PC before you start to install it?
Well, the first thing you should do is back up. At very least, back up your important data files, because those you can't replace.
Because you can never tell what's going to happen during that install.
Absolutely. You never know, even though most of the time it goes fine.
Okay.
The next thing you want to do is get rid of any viruses you might have. Make sure you've got a nice, clean system. Disable any of your TSRs or anything that's kind of, quirky, so that when the Windows 95 installation program starts running, it's got a fairly vanilla, ordinary system to deal with. Then, after you've done all that, make sure you've got plenty of space in your hard drive, because that's critical, because Windows 95 is going to use every nook and cranny you've got.
All right, let's talk about that now. First of all, let's talk RAM before we talk hard drive, and we hear that you really can't run Win95 if you have a 4-megabyte machine, right?
In theory, you can, but then a family of 4 could live in a one-bedroom apartment, theoretically. In reality, whatever the rules were for Windows 3.1, you double them. The rule, Windows 3.1, 4 megs minimum. Windows 95, for all practical purposes, 8 megabytes is your minimum system. If you want a really nice system with plenty of room to grow, 16 megabytes is really excellent. That's what I use. If you're a heavy power user and you've got a lot of CAD CAM or big graphic images, then you probably want to go to 32 megabytes. Believe it or not, that's what the power users are doing these days.
Let's talk about the RAM upgrade options, and we have a couple of them over here. First of all, this PC MCIA card, and I guess if you have a laptop and you have a PC slot, you can just stick that in and
Absolutely. If you get an extra slot and you can afford it, that's a great, easy way to do it.
Okay, now sometimes you don't have a slot, and I guess these are sort of little mini SIM chips.
Right, they fit in usually there's a little door in the back of your laptop, and you turn it off and plug those in. They're pretty easy to install, and they do the job.
And for the typical desktop user, you've got your regular PC. This is the normal.
Right, you can get up to 16 megabytes of memory on one of these little, they're called a SIM modular, and they just plug right into the motherboard, and they're fairly easy to install. If you know how to take your computer apart, if you're comfortable, you can do it yourself. If you're not, it's a $10,
Let's do that right here. We have a PC open, and we'll just lift this power supply and get it out of the way. And these are your RAM slots right in here, right?
That's right, and you'd have an empty one, and you just pop it in there and clip it down and turn on the machine. If all goes well, you've got to do memory.
It's not you don't have to be afraid to do that.
No, the only thing is make sure you touch the chassis to discharge any electricity, static you may, before you touch one of these components. Other than that, you're fine.
Let's get back to the hard drive issue you mentioned. Windows 95 takes up a lot of space in your hard drive. Most of us don't have a lot of space left over on our hard drive. What are the options then to get more hard drive space?
Well, of course, you could always buy another hard drive, and eventually you can do compression. But the main thing you want to do, it's like cleaning out your garage. You probably have more space than you realize, because you probably have a lot of junk on your machine, programs that you haven't used in months. Go ahead and delete them, and then you get into the issue, how do you delete them? Well, if you really know what you're doing, you could delete them manually, but even if you took out the directory that all the programs are in, there's always extra files sitting around. There's always statements in your
Certainly if you had Win
files.
3.1 on your machine.
Especially with Win 3.1. So that's where we have all these commercial uninstall programs. Now, sort of the mother of all uninstall programs is called Uninstaller for MicroHelp.
And you have that up here now?
Have it running here. And what we're doing here is we're actually in the process of looking at a program that we want to get rid of. We want to get rid of, let's say, not that we would want to get rid of ClarisWorks. We click on this, we push Analyze, and then the program would start analyzing what it has to do, and it would go ahead and not only delete the files, but clean up the WinINI program file and just get the machine so it's as if that program were never there. Now, eventually, you're not going to need this because Windows 95 has an uninstall program built in, but it only works with Windows 95 applications. So for the present time, you're really going to need a program like this. Eventually, it's going to be an operating system
function. When you
want
to install Win96, you'll have the problem solved with Win95.
Exactly.
All right, last thing we hear, there are special keyboards out now for Windows 95, and we have one of them over here. And show me what's so special about this. Why might I want a separate keyboard for Win95?
Well, you don't need a separate keyboard. I mean, you can function fine without one.
Well, we got, for instance, here's this little funny Windows key over here. What does that do?
If you're buying a keyboard, you get one of these and you push it, and what it does is it brings up the start menu. It's just like if you'd press the start menu. So it just makes it easier. And there's another one over on this side.
And what's that little Windows button?
Well, it's programmable. If it's just Microsoft, it does the same thing. But in this particular one, it actually brings up a special task switching menu to make it just easier to change tasks. And then we have another one here, which is the same as pushing the right mouse button, which, oh, here we go. It brought up another little window, just as if you'd pushed the right mouse
Okay, so I mean, it's not essential, but it makes it easier maybe.
Makes it easier. If you're buying a new keyboard, it's something to look for.
Right. All right, Larry, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All right, so let's say you decide to buy Windows 95. There is a learning curve. It's not the same as Windows 3.1, certainly not the same as MS-DOS. You have to figure out how to use it if you're going to get your money's worth. So let's take a look at your options for getting up to speed on Windows 95.
The screens may look familiar, but they are not quite the same. There are new icons, new menus, and there's a new way to organize files. For a single user, Windows 95 means establishing some new habits, And for technical support staff, it means answering a lot of questions. One way to prepare yourself for the changeover is to put the manual aside and go back to school, Windows 95 school.
So far, we've been focusing mostly on the technical end of things because people are just getting started in rolling out Windows 95, and the companies are trying to learn as much as they can about how the operating system works within their company. So they're sending people to the technical training classes in order to learn and understand it very well before they go ahead and give it to their end users.
The class approach appeals to people who either don't have the time or just don't like to read manuals. It's kind of a shortcut to the program's main features.
So even if you go through and you learn on your own, which I'm sure that lots of people will probably have to do, the tips, the tricks, things that will ultimately save you time in the long stretch, that's what you get out of class. And the interaction between having someone answer your questions as opposed to your having to either call support hotline or trying to look it up through the help screen. Those are useful, but again, they're time consuming. So I think if you're looking for a way to save time, come to class.
Classes are attractive for users who are short on time and can afford the fees, but for some brave souls, a book and sheer persistence can accomplish the same goals, if they have the patience.
You get to know your computer a little bit more because you're figuring out how to set something up, because you're not just going to set up Windows 95 on your computer, you're going to set up all kinds of different programs that you're going to need. So it gave me like a sense of accomplishment when I finally got it to work. I was like jumping up and down and I was all excited about it. But I think some of the minuses is it can be very frustrating. You know, when you have a question, you have to refer to a book for an answer.
For the Computer Chronicles, I'm Giles Bateman.
Now, the bottom line with any operating system is what can you do with it? How will it make your applications run better? Just about every software maker is busy cranking out new Win95 versions of their programs, so you can take advantage of the extra juice in Windows 95. Here to show us two examples of brand new Win95 apps are Jeff Rona of 3DI and also over there Kevin Goldberg of Trimark. Let's start with you, Jeff, and you have a program called Trispectives. And first of all, what's important about Win95 to this 3D design program?
Well, our program really isn't able to do anything without the power that's behind a 32-bit application like Windows 95. Its multi-threading capabilities allow us to render faster, move objects interactively quickly, and overall speed performances that just weren't available in Windows 3.
All right, you have some neat examples now, so show us a little bit of the program and what it does.
Right. We can actually create 3D models interactively, and with the power of the 32-bit application, we can continue moving those. We have a 3D page that we've developed, and on this 3D page we can actually go back in and show you some of the features where we have in our graphics package. We can do animation and room design, layout, graphics capabilities that you'd find in other packages. Here we'll show you our drag and drop animation. We'll ship the product with over 1,000 IntelliShape 3D models, which are like intelligent clip art. We simply drag out of a catalog and the model is created instantly and put into the scene.
So that's 3D clip art.
We call it IntelliShapes. They have intelligent properties. They know how to land and slide over one another. That makes it more intuitive for a user in a drag and drop.
And the fact is you can animate these things essentially.
Exactly.
Right?
So now I'll just go into our animation catalogs, make a spin move on the Earth and a spin move there. We'll turn on our smart motions and click play, and we have a real-time animation sequence that can be exported out to an AVI file if you wish for use in something like PowerPoint or in MediaPlay.
All right, what else can we do with this?
For many customers, many people are working into virtual reality. Here we've got a room scene that we've set up. We can actually do a walk-through camera angle to go into our room, and we can turn ourselves around so we get the back view. And then for creation, we can actually drag and drop more of those models into this. So we have a table and chair, and the table knows how to land on its legs. The chair knows how to land.
That's the intelligent shape. It knows where it belongs.
Exactly. So even if we move it on the floor, across the floor, we can also position it using a new feature we have called a tri-ball. And here we'll just move the center, and with just a simple mouse click, we can actually replicate this 3 times. and create scenes very quickly. Again, something you wouldn't really be able to do in a non-32-bit application. Now we can save that scene out actually as a VRML file or a Visual Basic Text file for the models, AVI files, JPEG, and the rest of the standards.
Tri-Specta's 3D design with Win95.
Yes.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, let's see what Windows 95 does for a game now. And I'll interrupt Kevin in the middle of playing the Hive. And tell us about the game, Kevin.
Well, what Windows 95 gave us is the ability to do pan-interactive sequences as well as streaming animation on top of them, something that we couldn't have done before. And I'll jump right into gameplay.
Tell us what's going on in the game here while you're playing.
Well, I've just landed on an ocean platform, and the object is to basically blow these guys away. You can hear I'm doing pretty well. This is a standard rail sequence where your motion is predetermined. And if you get far enough along, I'll be able to show you a pan-interactive sequence where you become stationary and the sprites move around you in a 360 degree. And you can see we're now in that pan-interactive. I'm controlling the motion, seamless branching between the two, and without Windows 95, we couldn't have done it.
Very cool. All right, it's called the Hive.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot. All right, you've no doubt heard about the new Microsoft Network, MSN, which comes with Windows 95. If you want help or more information on Windows 95, there are in fact a lot of online sites where you can find it. So let's check out this week's Net News with Giles Bateman.
Thanks, Stuart. I think the best place to start is to go straight to the source. Here I am at Microsoft's own Windows website, and here I can get Windows 95 general information, tech information and support, free software, and more. But I think of more interest to online users is the Microsoft Network. And if you have access to a web browser and the
With rollover data, the data you don't use this month rolls over to the next month.
And I don't have to do anything.
Not a thing. Mobile Sure Value customers get it automatically. It's how we show appreciation.
You know, I really appreciate that you appreciate me as a customer.
And we appreciate how much you appreciate us appreciating our
to be in the first build for insiders, but the features will be coming. And there's one other feature of photos that I want to show that's not yet in our builds. So we're going to run a motion study here. And this is showing our albums feature. I mentioned how we're going to automatically remove dupes, automatically improve the way pictures look. We're going to also automatically create albums. And so what you see here in the collection view at the top are automatic albums by detecting the place, the time, the people that were all in a series of photos, and then we create a collection which we call an album. If we can, we give it a name. We let you manage it yourself if you'd like to, but we'll do it for you. When I open one of these albums, you'll see we choose a hero image, the one that we think looks best. We show you the people that are in the album. That's me with my kids. We choose a sample set of photos that we format them so they look nice on the screen. We handle all of that automatically for you. It's in the cloud, so then if you'd like to share that album with other people, you can. Our intention here is to have a Photos app that exists devices and that deals with your multiple devices and make it work across all of them. It's that mobility. That mobility of experience that Terry, because we're implementing it one time using our universal platform. Now, I got 3 more apps I'm going to show you. I'm going to go even faster so you get a sense of overview. We're going to do this by motion study. The first one is our people, which we're implementing, again, as a devices. It aggregates all the people you care about across social networks and actions like making a call. Next up, our music experience, which we're continuing to evolve across all these devices. And what you'll see here is how we're using the cloud and then it shows up magically on in about a month or 2 months for you to put your music collection stored in the cloud, so you can make any device and they're automatically reflected on all your devices. Next up, I want you to see our Maps experience, which starts with some Cortana integration. Cortana has recognized that traffic is slow, so you can open the app on your PC, and then when you use the turn by somewhere and you arrive, you can have Cortana remember where you parked your car, and then when your event's over, she's there to help you find where you parked. So, that is a quick tour of our family of universal apps that we're building for the phone, small tablets, and PCs, and which we intend to deliver everything that you intend to give you that mobile experience tailored for each device size they're on. In particular, we're excited to have Office built, bringing a version of Office built for Windows 10 and optimized for touch with Word, Excel, and PowerPoint on the default phone experience and available in the store on the PC, and with a new Outlook, Mail, and Calendar rounding out the experience so it's great for productivity. I have one more app experience I want to show you. And to do that, I want to get you thinking about the state of the web. The web is indispensable. Everybody's using it all the time. And over the last, in large part because of the explosion of highly powerful mobile devices, we've seen site authors evolving their sites in sophisticated and interesting ways, targeting a wide range of devices. And since we've had this rapid evolution of the web, and since we're building this new set of devices on Windows 10 with a universal platform, we think it's the right time to build a new browser for the modern web, which will empower users on Windows 10. So I introduce you to Codename, our new web browsing experience for Windows 10. So Project Spartan has a number of parts. First, it has a new rendering engine under the covers that's built to be compatible with how the web is written today. It has a new look and feel, which you see on the screen, that it fits right in with all this family of, and we're especially new features to make you more productive on the web as you use Project Spartan. So I'm going to switch over for the you can take a look at Project Spartan running on the PC. Now, Project Spartan will not be in our very first Insider builds. It's going to come a little later, and it'll come to the phone a little after that. Now, I'm going to show you it only on the PC today, but it is coming to the phone. First thing you'll notice here is the new it's in with the design language of Windows 10, and you can see the focus is on the content on the page. But what I want to do is just significant new features we're working on to help people be productive. The first one is about how you can interact with the web, and in particular, how you might communicate with other people about the web. So, sometimes web articles come out and people want to post them to Facebook, or they want to talk to other people about them. There's a lot of interaction that happens with content on the web. And this happened to our team. It happened about 2 weeks ago. And it happened when this article posted on the internet. This article comes out, and you can imagine all of us are simultaneously horrified and kind of happy. And so, of course, within our team, we communicated with each other about this article on the web, but we had Spartan. So we didn't simply send emails. Many of us had devices that work with pens or styluses, which I have here. So I'm going to switch into the first of these big three features, our note-taking mode. And you could imagine when I saw this, and sometimes you guys don't get it right. So, we saw this and we were excited, and we communicated with each other by, I'm using a stylus, but I could do it with just my finger if I don't have a pen handy. If I want to make a little smiley face to show just how happy I am, that's possible too. And so now we have this way of expressing our thoughts right on the canvas of the web. It was interesting. It came out and a bunch of people speculated, oh, we're doing this for devices with a pen. We're not. So let me show you how we're going to import the mode of communicating about documents that millions with Word. They can using their keyboard. This is a good idea. So you could imagine, as we saw this article, some people had touch devices, some didn't. Everyone could comment on it using whatever form of input they had. If it's touch, then it's natural. If it's a keyboard, then it's familiar. And so once I've marked up this page, there's a bunch of things I can do with it, of course. What we've done is we've frozen the web page. And that means the content that might change on it is sort of snapped in time, but the links are staged or save that whole page for myself on my markup. Or I can go over here, I'm going to grab this clipping tool, and I'm going to just pull out this particular segment. You can see there I could save it to my OneNote, because I keep a bunch of notes on things as I browse the web when I'm planning trips and so on. I could copy it to the clipboard, or I could come right up here and use the system's built-in system for sharing to share that with other people. I could share it on Facebook. I could share it on Twitter. I could share it through my email experience in a consistent way. And now I have a rich canvas for not only expressing my thoughts on the web, but for sharing them with other people as well. So that's the first of our three significant end-user features. The second thing that we tried to do was focus on the action of reading. The predominant action on the web is reading. You're reading and reading and reading and reading. And we felt if we could make that just a few percentage points better, then we'd significantly affect the overall productivity of people on the web. So there are a few things how we could take and sort of standardize a great way to read sites on the web, which are variant in their level of complexity and so on. So here's an article on Bon Appetit. I'm going to switch into my reading mode right here, and you'll see we discoverably make available a standardized format way. And you can personalize this to your liking so that you have a way to experience the wide range of content out there on a web in a way that might feel familiar to you. We didn't stop there. We also added a reading list right into the core browsing experience. And of course, this will show up on whatever device you have. I can add items to the reading list. It's a mobile experience that goes to whatever device I'm using. And we do one more thing, which is that we'll take save it offline. So if you find yourself stuck on a flight with no Wi-Fi and your mobile device is with you, well, Spartan will deliver you content to read wherever you are. And then the last thing that we wanted to do was we wanted to make sure that we supported the broadest set of content that's out there on the web. So we built in support for PDF files. And you see right here, I have a sample PDF file. I can add that to my reading list. I can mark it up with notes in the note-taking mode. It'll be saved offline to ensure that the widest range of content on the web is available for people to read wherever they are. Okay, last thing. The third thing that we tried to do to make people more productive on the web was to give you a personal assistant to help you be productive on the web. So we're building Cortana right into Spartan. And the idea is that Cortana will show up at the right opportune moments to help you get things done. So there's some simple things she can do. So if I'm in my address bar and I'm curious about the weather, I can start typing weather, and Cortana will pop up and be helpful in simple situations like that. But because she knows you, she can help in more interesting and nuanced ways at times that might surprise you a little bit. So let's say it's my sister's birthday. It's not my sister's birthday. And her friends are having a surprise birthday party for her tonight. Remember, my wife has that flight that's coming in that Cortana's tracking for me? Man, is my wife going to get... Sure, I might go to the Delta website to look up my wife's flight, but luckily, Cortana knows that I'm tracking a flight because she's learning things about me all the time. And she can save me time and effort by popping up as I'm about to navigate somewhere on the web with what might be an answer to a question that I have in mind. Cortana can help out. Similarly, it can be right there at my fingertips to let me know things about the pages I'm looking at. So you can see here, my sister's party is going to be at this restaurant called Cuoco. My wife is gluten-free, dairy-free, and I'm on a crazy diet for New Year's. And so we have this concern about a restaurant and what's on the menu, and I wonder, like, how am I going to get there from here? You notice when I visit the restaurant site, Cortana has popped up right here to tell me this, because again, Cortana is scouring the internet, learning about people and places and getting smarter all the time. Hours and more. When I click web browser, she shows up right here within the web browser to give me details about this place. She's telling me directions from where I'm at right now, and I can make those available on whatever device I'm on. She can book a reservation for me. She shows me the hours. I can read reviews and so on. Remember my concern about the menu? Well, Cortana's there to help too. She knows where the menu, she makes it readily available. And if I'm curious about ingredients as I scan down this, I know what a lot of these things are. I can just right-click, ask Cortana, and she's right there with an answer. Luckily, rapini, only 2.7 grams of carbs, so that'll be okay for me on my New Year's diet. That's a quick look at Project Spartan. It's a new implementation of a web browsing experience built on our new universal platform, and it goes cross-device. It's great right on the web. Trying to tune the reading experience to make people more efficient, and it's the only browser with a personal assistant built right in. Okay, that is my look at Windows 10 and where we're at, and a whole bunch of features that will be coming for insiders to try out over the next few months. 3, 4, 5 months. These things will all come in at different times. What you saw today was an early look at where we're at in the development of these. We're bringing Cortana to the PC, and we're going to change the way people use PCs through this natural interaction. Project Spartan is a new browsing experience tuned for being mobile and working across these devices. We have a family of universal apps, including Office, that are going to make people productive with these devices. And in all cases, the user experience is tuned to a wide variety of form factors, so you get benefit from things like Continuum, where your device will adapt to how you use it. There is one big app experience that I didn't talk about. I was focused on productivity, but we care just on our devices. So to cover that off, I'm excited to introduce to the stage Phil Spencer, who's going to take you through gaming and entertainment in Windows 10. Come on out, Phil.
Thanks, Joe. Good morning, and as the head of the Xbox team, I lead the talented and creative teams responsible for gaming at Microsoft. Here with you this morning to talk about gaming on Windows 10. Earlier, you heard Terry describe our vision for more personal computing. I'm here to talk about how games as a form of entertainment are incredibly personal. We're not just viewers, we're participants. Whether we're in the trenches with our friends, fighting for survivors in the world, or gaming has always been inherently personal. We're deeply invested in our worlds and our play when we can share our triumphs, our stories, and our greatest creations with our friends. We at Xbox have the most active social network of gamers in the world with Xbox Live, with over 50 million members. And by combining the feed or vision for making all aspects of computing more personal, we've identified several ways to make PC gaming even more incredible than it is. Connection and community are central to the game experience. Today, we'll show you how gaming on Windows 10 will be more social and interactive by bringing together the best of the games you love to play, the people you play with, and the epic moments they create. In the Xbox app, I want to take this opportunity to show you our app. It starts with My Games, which is the collection of everything I play on any device. My friends list connects me to all my friends by gamertag wherever they are and wherever I am. Messages keeps me in touch across all Windows 10 devices, Xbox, and the web. And the heartbeat of Xbox Live is the activity feed, which lists all the important game moments for me and my friends. Now I'm going to launch the app and show it here. So I have this nice Alienware PC that my friends let me use. I appreciate that. Clicking the Start menu. On it, you will have the Xbox app. And here it is. You see the sections that I mentioned. Now down the left, you have my gamer picture, my gamer tag, my score, the games I played. This is my games. I'll come back to the activity feed in a second. And down the right, you have all of my friends. One thing I didn't say about friends in the messaging area, to voice chat and text chat across platform with all of my friends on Xbox Live. Now, the activity feed, for those that don't know, this is the area where everything that happens on Xbox Live is shared to all of the friends and followers that you have. I have a friend, Melody Bolton, here. She's an amazing Minecraft creator. Now, some of you might have heard Minecraft. It's something that last year we were able to bring into the Microsoft Studios collection of games, and I'm always incredibly inspired by the community, so this community there and what they create. So this is a clip that she created on people taking photos with Instagram and sharing them with their friends. People do this on Xbox Live all the time. So let's look at this clip. Now she's told me to wait till the end because there's a special creation at the end of this clip. Favorite in the Minecraft world? Very nice. Okay, so I like this clip. I want to share it with all of my friends and all of my followers on Xbox Live. I'm able to like it by clicking on the heart icon. I can leave a comment telling people to watch until the end and then post that comment. Now, as I said, on console, we've seen millions and millions of these clips created and shared. And you can do this on Windows today. There's special hardware and other applications that allow you to create game DVR clips. But we thought about how could we bring this technology right into the operating system itself, allowing people, any Windows game, to share those epic moments. As I said today, I happen to be a big Steam customer. So let me go into Steam. You see all of my friends down on Steam. Steam runs incredibly well on Windows 10. I'm using it to launch one of my favorite current games, Sid Meier Beyond Earth. So this is a game that obviously shipped before Windows 10 was even a word. It knows nothing about Xbox Live, but it's obviously running on Windows 10. I'm going to launch it, and I'm going to show you how the game DVR feature, start a single-player game. just going to start a simple game from the beginning. So see it. Come on, there it is. Play. So here's the game. So I'm going to make a couple moves. Move these guys. Oh, scary green wasp guys. Okay, with a simple click, Control G, Windows G, excuse me, Y for saving gameplay clips on any. Now, usually what will happen, what you see in a lot of apps will allow you to do this, you click the red circle, you start a recording session, you record the gameplay that you want, then you can store that off. But what we found on console is those epic moments are unexpected. It's something that you weren't expecting to happen, and on the console, with a couple clicks of 30 seconds of gameplay, something you didn't know and you're really surprised, and we wanted to build that right into Windows 10 as well. So by clicking on this icon, I'm actually capturing the last 30 seconds of gameplay on any game running on Windows. Click it, you see the toast come up here. It shows the clip has been recorded. Takes me back into the Xbox app where I can do the same things I can do on the Xbox. I can clip from either side. I can share it to Xbox Live, which you saw Melody do, what Melody did with her Minecraft, or I can share on any share social network. Now I'm going to choose to share this out to OneDrive with the game DVR from Civilization Beyond Earth, and I can take that and share it anywhere. We think this will create more incredible viralness for the game developers and the gaming fans out there who want to share their moments. You know, bringing more power to Windows 10 gaming is incredibly important to us. Now, the DirectX is the graphic subsystem inside of Windows 10. And DirectX will make the games you're playing today even better. What you're going to see on screen here is a visual comparison that's under development at FutureMark, which shows the same piece of hardware running DirectX 11 and more complexity to the scene. And actually, eventually, the DirectX 11 side is going to stop. Frame rate effectively hits 0. And you can see the DirectX 12 and continues to keep a high frame rate. Again, same piece of hardware running, one on DirectX 11, one on DirectX 12. Performance has always been incredibly important in DirectX. And what we've done with DirectX 12 is we've given developers much more fine control of CPU and GPU, giving them direct control. And for CPU-bound games, this will actually increase the performance of those games, which is up to 50%, which is going to allow developers to create a screen. Their artists will go crazy with the amount of. But with DirectX 12, we also know that people are playing millions of games on phones and other devices that are powered by battery. So we thought, how can we take advantage of the increased performance, but also focus on battery life? People want to play those games longer. They want them to look great. So with DirectX 12 and our focus on power consumption for the same scenes from people, you're going to see more incredible games on even devices that people can play for even a longer time. I think it'll be great for the huge mobile gaming development out there, and you see more and more high-end mobile games that are just really taking advantage of the graphic capability. Now, none of this is possible if we're not getting the adoption from the studios out there. We have hundreds of studios. We're incredibly happy that they're already using DirectX 12. Our friends at Epic with the Unreal Engine 4 have adopted DirectX 12. I'm announcing today that our friends at Unity, one of the largest game engines in the industry, have also adopted the DirectX 12 capability. To the thousands of developers out there, schools to high-end developers, to take advantage of what DirectX brings. Now today, people are playing games on more devices than ever. And with Windows 10, we wanted to focus on those gaming scenarios across device. With the Xbox that we're bringing to Windows 10, so please help me in welcoming Head Studios will come out on stage.